Hey friends! My name is Desiree, aka Mama Friendly, and I do all sorts of videos on my channel, recipes, hauls, vlogs, a little bit of everything. So if any of that sounds like fun to you, I hope you'll subscribe and join my YouTube adventure. This video is a What's for Dinner collab hosted by my friend Angel at Angel McMillan. I'm going to have her channel linked down below, and I'm also going to have a playlist for the rest of the collaborators so that after you've finished watching my video, you can see what everybody else is having for dinner. I've been doing a lot of cycle syncing content on my channel lately because it's kind of at the front of my mind these days, so everything about my lifestyle is touched by cycle syncing, and so it stands to reason that the things I'm sharing on my lifestyle channel are going to have a similar theme. So I wanted to share a very simple recipe with you guys. It actually uses leftovers that are repurposed to make an easy and quick weeknight meal while still having tons and tons of nutrients. I'm going to be showing you how I make a staple in my dinner rotation, salmon, but with some golden crispy rice. This recipe is of course going to include salmon, which is a fantastic source of protein and omega-3s, and it's also going to have eggs, which are another great source of protein, but also egg yolks especially have a lot of choline in them, which is very important for brain health. This is really quick and easy, a great way to use up leftover rice, and delicious. So without any further ado, let's jump right into cooking, shall we? Alright friends, so I'm going to start making our golden fried rice with crispy salmon. I'm very excited about this. The original recipe is meant to serve 5 people. I'm the only person in my house that eats salmon, so I'm going to tell you the original recipe with the original measurements and everything, but I'm going to be adjusting my own dish to serve just myself. So the original recipe calls for 3 cups of overnight cooked rice, and what they mean by that is rice that has been cooked the night prior and then cooled down and refrigerated to use today. So I have here, I'm probably going to end up using about 1.5 cups if I'm honest, but for the full recipe that serves 5, you need 3 entire cups. You need 24 ounces or 4 6-ounce servings of salmon. I've got way too much here. This is like 1.33 pounds or something like that. I'll probably use half of this for myself, but again, 4 6-ounce pieces or 24 ounces total of salmon. 5 eggs, I'm using 3. You need salt, scallions, 1 shallot. I am going to use the whole shallot, and this is actually my very first time using shallot ever as an ingredient, so I'm excited about this. I suppose if you can't find this, you could also use maybe half of a small white onion. And lastly, you need 2 tablespoons of sambal. Sambal is, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that by the way, but it's basically a very chunky, spicy chili paste with garlic. I happen to have some on hand because I love this stuff and I use it every chance I get. However, there is currently a sriracha shortage. I don't know if you all have heard about this. So in case you don't have this, because I actually tried to buy a new bottle and I couldn't. I can't find this anywhere. I found this brand of sriracha at Sprouts fairly easily because it's not like the original sriracha brand, I guess. It's not quite sambal, but it'll give us a similar flavor profile that we're going for. So in a pinch, if you can't find the good stuff, you can keep your eyes peeled for this. The first thing I'm going to do actually is I'm going to separate my eggs because we're going to use the yolks in one part of the recipe and the whites at a different point. I need to use my yolks first, and I'm going to be mixing them into my cooked cooled rice. So this is straight from the refrigerator. The reason you don't want to use fresh rice is because it's going to have a different starch content, and it's not going to give you the same texture at the finished product as if you used cooked and then cooled overnight rice. I'm going to put my rice into a bowl here. I'm weighing it by the way, that's 1.5 cups right there. And in case you're curious, 1.5 cups of rice is 237 grams. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to separate my whites into a separate vessel since I'm going to be using those later. And I'm going to throw my yolks directly into the bowl of rice. gonna break up my rice a little here and mix the yolks all into it. The rice is a little clumpy because it's cold, but that's fine. And in the meantime, I've got a pan that I'm kind of preheating a little bit on medium-high heat on my stove, because we're gonna make a little bit of a fried rice situation here. So you can see the rice is nicely coated with the yolks. I'm still kind of separating grains here, but this is where the golden rice of our recipe comes in. Ta-da! So it says that on medium-high heat we should cook the rice until the grains separate and then season with a pinch of salt. So it doesn't really give me any approximation of the amount of time we're looking for here, but I have taken note of when I started cooking. I'll let you guys know how long it took me at medium-high heat to get the rice to where I think they want it to be. Okay, that looks good to me. This is about 3.5 minutes of cooking here, and everything's heated through. You can see that the yolk has started to cook a little bit there. So I'm gonna make a well in the center here of my pan. Oh, almost forgot to season with salt. I got my salt going. Perfect. And now in the middle of this well, I'm gonna add in my scallions. I'm gonna add in my egg whites. Give that a good mix so things don't stick, which I think they already have a little bit. So much for a non-stick pan, huh? And lastly, here comes my shallot. They didn't specify how to cut it, so I used my absolutely lacking knife skills to kind of cut it up as finely as I could. Ooh! And in case you were wondering, shallots absolutely have the same bite to the eyes as onions do. That's looking really, really nice. So our golden rice is ready. I'm going to set this aside so that we can work on our salmon next. I almost forgot they wanted us to put our sambal into the rice as well. So I've got about 2 tablespoons of that right in the center there. And I'm going to mix that up into the rice also. Oh yeah, that's adding a ton of flavor if the smell is any indication. That's going to be so good. Now the salmon is going to be extremely simple. I've got about 8 ounces of salmon here. I've told y'all a million times how much the recipe wants you to use, right? What I find funny about it, I was just reading the recipe through again, is that they're saying that they want you to have 4 pieces of salmon, but the recipe is meant to serve 5 people. Not sure exactly how that works, but either way, I, in particular, am using 8 ounces of salmon here. I'm just going to season it with some salt. They want me to season very simply because they don't want the salmon competing with all the flavors in the rice. And they want you to put about 3 tablespoons of a neutral oil into your pan, also at medium-high heat. So I'm using avocado oil because it is a neutral tasting oil and it's good for using at a high temperature. So that looks like our oil's ready to go. I'm just going to go ahead and throw my salmon in here carefully, and I'm going to fry it until all the edges are golden and crispy. I'm using salmon with skin. You can use salmon without. You can take the skin off of yours or buy it without the skin. But I like the texture of it, especially fried, so I'm going with it. There you have it, friends. There's my salmon with crispy golden rice. It is so good. It had a really nice kick to it. It could have used a little more green onion razzle dazzle there at the end if I hadn't run out, just to give it a little more color and a little more freshness. But it was really, really good just as I served it, and I am so happy to eat this again and again and again. Do you have a favorite dinner recipe that makes it into your rotation over and over? Let me know what it is in the comments, and remember, this is a collab, so now that you've watched my video, check out the link in the description box so that you can see the playlist as well. I want to thank you all so much for being here and watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, I hope you'll please give it a big thumbs up. I'd also love it if you would subscribe and click that notification bell because I post at least 3 times a week and I wouldn't want you to miss a minute. Thanks so much again for watching. Bye!